Good morning, everyone. Last class I discussed about benign breast diseases. So, rest of the topics to be continued today. The last class I covered fibroadenoma, fibroadenosis, Pillow's tumor, mastalgia, and I think traumatic fat necrosis. Today I will start with galactosele, seen in lactating women. The main cause is due to the blockage of lactiferous duct resulting in enormous dilatation of lactiferous sinus. It contains milk and epithelial debris. Usually it is a retention cyst in the subareolar region attaining large size. Clinical features of this galactosele, usually unilateral, can be large, soft, fluctuant since it is cystic with smooth surface, usually non-tender. If it gets calcified, it can mimic carcinoma. If it gets infected, can form abscess. So a diagrammatic picture of galactosele cyst. This is the retention cyst, the dilatation of the lactiferous sinus. Coming to investigations of galactosele, the first mode of line is by ultrasonography, followed by fine needle aspiration cytology. Aspiration of the galactosele usually shows thick, creamy, either greenish or brownish fluid, treated by aspiration of the content. Next mode line is by excision through submammary incision, also called Willett-Thomas incision. If it is ended with abscess, you have to go for incision and drainage with antibiotic coverage. Next topic is mastitis. The various types in mastitis are three types: subareolar, intramammary, and retromammary. So this is the diagrammatic representation. Subareolar abscess, intramammary, retromammary. Okay. See, retromammary abscess extending posteriorly. Coming to subareolar type of mastitis, it is the infection under the areola due to cracks in the nipple or areola. So result from an infected gland of Montgomery, nothing but the sebaceous, modified sebaceous glands of areolar region or a furuncle of a areola. So commonly seen in non-lactating women. Clinical features: inflammatory changes like reddish, inflamed, edematous areola with a tender swelling underneath it. So nipple retraction may develop if any destruction in the nipple. So differential diagnosis of this subareolar mastitis is the Paget's disease of the nipple. Coming to the treatment, with the cover of antibiotics, pus is drained by making the subareolar incision. Coming to the next type, intramammary mastitis, subdivided into lactational and non-lactational abscess. So, lactational abscess usually seen up to 6 months of lactation period, occurs nearly in 3% of breastfeeding mothers. The various precipitating factors causing the lactational abscess are cracked nipple, retracted nipple, inadequate milk expression, hematoma getting infected, finally the improper cleaning of nipple. All these causes may lead to the lactational abscess. The mode of infection, mainly by most common organism involved is Staphylococcus aureus, enters the breast through the cracked nipple. The various clinical features in this type: continuous throbbing pain with high fever, diffuse redness, tenderness, warmth, and brawny induration. Occasionally, tender fluctuant swelling constitutes of about 10% may be felt. So, associated ulceration and discharge can also occur. The DDs of this type is lactational abscess, inflammatory carcinoma of the breast. Treated by antibiotic coverage using cephalosporin group. We can use repeated ultrasonographic guided aspirations we can do. If it not subsided, so finally incision and drainage may be needed. So the various indications for IND in mastitis or breast abscess are: if mastitis is not resolving with antibiotics within 2 days, that is 48 hours, therein is the associated brawny induration, or if patient is having persistent fever with progression of mastitis. The various complication of this type is lactational abscess, antibioma formation, sinus formation, skin necrosis, or fistula formation. Recurrent infection can occur, may end up with septicemia. So, during treatment, the suppression of lactation required for at least 2 weeks. Next type is the non-lactational abscess. Type of intramammary abscess, commonly seen in duct ectasia and periareolar mastitis, like infections. The various common organisms involved in this non-lactational abscess are bacteroids, anaerobic streptococci, and enterococci. Remember, in lactational it is Staphylococcus aureus, non-lactational anaerobic streptococci, enterococci, and various bacteroids. Coming to treatment, with antibiotic coverage, repeated aspirations can done. If not subsided, even with 3 to 4 aspirations, we can do incision and drainage, followed by cone excision of the duct is done. Next type of mastitis is retromammary mastitis. Remember, it is mainly due to tuberculosis of intercostal lymph nodes or tuberculosis of the ribs. Breast will be normal. The various investigations we need to do in this retromammary mastitis: chest X-ray, ESR, peripheral smear, ultrasonography of the breast and chest wall, followed by fine needle aspiration cytology. Very oftenly CT chest may be needed if there is any associated complications are there. Coming to the treatment of this retromammary mastitis, the cause has to be treated. Since it is the main cause is tuberculosis, you have to give anti-tuberculosis treatment. Therein is associated abscess, non-dependent drainage through submammary or retromammary incision. So coming to the next topic, ductectasia. Definition is, it is nothing but a dilatation of lactiferous duct due to muscular relaxations of the duct wall associated with periductal mastitis, also called as plasma cell mastitis. Clinical features of this ductectasia: greenish discharge or creamy paste-like material coming from the nipple. Indurated mass under the areolar can be present. Presence of slit-like retraction of nipple. Such complications like associated with abscess and fistula formation. Usually it is bilateral and multifocal. This ectasia most commonly seen in smokers, common in multiple pregnancies and during perimenopausal period. May present with mastalgia. Palpable axillary nodes can be seen, which are usually non-specific type. Secondary bacterial anaerobic infection is common. So DD of this ductectasia is carcinoma of the breast. Various investigations by ductography, dilated cystic structure can be seen. Discharge study can be done. Fine needle aspiration cytology of the swelling. Mammography above 35 years of age group in case of mass or nipple retraction, not to exclude the carcinoma underneath. See this dilated cystic structures, the dilatation of the lactiferous ducts in ductography. Treatment is important to stop smoking since it is one of the etiology of ductectasia. What is field operation? Nothing but cone excision of major ducts. So during the procedure, shave the back of the nipple to ensure that all the terminal ducts should be removed. Why? Not to prevent the recurrence. In ductectasia, antibiotic therapy can be tried. Next, coming to the tuberculosis of the breast. It's relatively rare. Benign disease of the breast constitutes nearly 4% of benign breast diseases. May be due to high resistance offered by mammary gland tissue to the survival and the multiplication of the tuberculosis bacilli. So this tuberculosis of breast usually associated with TB lumps, commonly seen in lactation period. Infection reaches through blood or retrograde lymphatic spread from lymph node of the axilla. Nipple and areola are usually not involved in tuberculosis of breast. So tuberculosis of the breast presents as swelling in the breast with cold abscess. Sinus can form. The typical bluish appearance of surrounding skin with matted lymph nodes in the ipsilateral axilla. The lump is usually seen as irregular mass, ill-defined margins, pseudo-orange skin changes. Discharge of the nipple can be seen with matted axillary lymph nodes, often with sinuses are the various features. So for tuberculosis of the breast, one of the DD is carcinoma of the breast. So investigations, ultrasonography followed by FNAC, needle biopsy by excisional biopsy, treated by anti-tuberculosis drugs, drainage of cold abscess by non-dependent area. Remember that mastectomy is not done in tuberculosis of breast. So coming to the gynecomastia, by definition defined as hypertrophy of the male breast more than usual due to increase in either ductal and connective tissue, both epithelial and stromal elements, often attaining the features of female breast. In the non-obese male, breast tissue measuring at least 2 cm in diameter can also defined as gynecomastia. Can be unilateral or bilateral, and it can also be diffuse or well localized, most commonly due to estrogen stimulatory excess or androgen deficiency by inhibitory mechanism. See diagrammatic representation of gynecomastia. This is unilateral type and this is bilateral type. See in this it is localized. Here it is diffuse type. Coming to the types of gynecomastia, neonatal type of gynecomastia is due to action of placental estrogens. Pubertal type constitutes nearly 25%, seen in young boys, mostly due to excess estrogen level in relation to testosterone. This pubertal type is usually unilateral. Senescent type seen in old people, most commonly due to fall circulating testosterone levels, in turn causing relative estrogen excess. So prepubertal type may also be seen in the girl child along with the male child. Coming to the etiology of gynecomastia, first most common is by estrogen excess. It can be due to testicular tumor, Leydig cell type of tumor, non-testicular tumors, either from adrenal cortex, lung, liver, hyperthyroidism, liver diseases, estrogen therapy for prostatic cancer. So in all these cases, you will see the estrogen excess. And one of the other causes is androgen deficiency. Next, secondary testicular failure seen in viral orchitis, renal failure, leprotic patients. Various drugs causing gynecomastia. The drugs increasing estrogen activity like digitalis, drugs increase in estrogen synthesis, theophylline and fusimide. Next type of drugs, inhibition of testosterone synthesis like cimetidine, phenytoin, spironolactone. So remember these drugs: digitalis, theophylline, fusimide, cimetidine, phenytoin, spironolactone. So differential diagnosis of this gynecomastia, pseudogynecomastia, due to adipose tissue deposition, pectoral muscle hypertrophy, lipoma, dermoid, hematoma, male breast cancer. Various investigations, routine investigations by ultrasonography of the breast followed by fine needle aspiration cytology. Relevant to the cause, we have to investigate with liver functional test. There is any associated renal failure, RFT, DNA study and hormonal study. Treatment gynecomastia, most of the cases resolve spontaneously. Non-surgical management, correction of underlying cause and stopping of offending drug. So, the various indications of surgery in gynecomastia, if it is, there is any history of longer duration greater than 1 year, there is any continued growth for psychological support, cosmetic purpose, if there is any tenderness, if suspected malignancy, we have to go for surgery in these cases. What you will do? Subcutaneous mastectomy. What is subcutaneous mastectomy? In this type of mastectomy, breast tissue is removed, nipple areolar complex along with the skin is preserved. Okay. Next topic is duct papilloma. Most common cause of bloody discharge from the nipple. Usually seen from a single lactiferous duct. This type of papilloma, true polyps lined by epithelium. Usually less than 1 centimeter, but they can also attain a very large size. Sometimes papilloma may project out like a pedunculated mass. The diagrammatic representation, see, this is the duct. Inside the duct, there is an intraductal papilloma. Various types of duct papilloma, either subareolar or peripheral. Among these two, subareolar is common, can be unilateral or bilateral. Common type is unilateral. Third type of classification can be solitary or multiple. So solitary is common. So in case of duct papilloma, unilateral, solitary, subareolar type is most common. Remember. Coming to the clinical features, as before mentioned, blood stain discharge from the nipple. Serous or serosanguinous discharge can also occur from the nipple. Papilliferous swelling by projection. Differential diagnosis of this duct papilloma. Multiple papillomas can be seen. It is one of the pre-malignant condition of breast carcinoma. Peripheral papilloma should be differentiated from invasive papillary carcinoma. Various investigations we have to do is cytology for the discharge, ductogram, mammogram may show dense lesions under the areola. Treatment is by microdocectomy. In this procedure, lactiferous duct is probed, followed by opening and excised along with papilloma, done by tennis racket incision. So the treatment of duct papilloma, microdocectomy. Coming to next topic, Mondor's disease. Nowadays, they are asking for 2 marks question. Named after Henry Mondor, Who first discovered this disease in 1939? It's a rare condition which involves the thrombophlebitis of the superficial veins of breast and as well as the anterior chest wall. Frequently involved veins in this disease: lateral thoracic vein, thoracoepigastric vein, and superficial epigastric vein. May remember, this Mondo disease may also present in groin or penis due to involvement of lower part of thoracoepigastric venous system along with the breast. Okay. So this Mondo disease also called as string phlebitis. Why? A thrombosed vein presenting as a tender cord-like structure, hence called string phlebitis. So the clinical features: acute pain in the lateral aspect of the breast or anterior chest wall. Tender, firm cord is found to follow the distribution of one of the major superficial veins. On raising the arm above, a narrow, shallow subcutaneous groove appears alongside the cord-like thrombosed vein. I will show you. See here. Cord-like structure. So the diagnosis usually when the diagnosis is uncertain or when a mass is present near the tender cord, biopsy should be indicated. Treatment: NSAIDs and application of warm compresses along the symptomatic vein with restriction of motion and bracary support of the breast. Usually resolves within 4 to 6 weeks. When symptoms persist or refractory to therapy, excision of involved vein segment should be done. Okay. Next topic is Paget's disease. Chronic eczematous eruption of nipple which may progress to an ulcerated weeping lesion. The definition of Paget's: so chronic eczematous eruption of nipple which may progress to an ulcerated weeping lesion caused by malignant cells in the subdermal layer. Histopathology: important cells, the Paget cells. They are very large cells with clear cytoplasm, clear halo, with eccentric hypochromatic nuclei. Seen in this picture, clear halo with eccentric nuclei. Paget cells spreads into the sinuses, that is lactiferous sinuses, under the nipple, and it can also spread upward to invade overlying epidermis of the nipple. So Paget cells do not invade basement membrane. It's called carcinoma in situ. Clear halo with eccentric hyperchromatic nucleoli. Okay, these are the Paget cells. So this is the picture of the Paget cells. See in this picture, complete destruction of nipple areolar complex. The symptoms: eczema like rash, discharge from the nipple. It can be serous or bloody discharge. Nipple can be excoriated and inverted. May or may not be a lump, can be present in the breast. Differences between the Paget's disease and eczema. The first point, Paget's disease, it is unilateral. Eczema is bilateral condition. In Paget's disease, edges are distinct. In eczema, edges are indistinct. In eczema, itching is present, which is not there in Paget's disease. Paget's disease usually seen in menopausal women. Eczema-like condition seen during the time of lactation mainly. In eczema, along with the itching, vesicles are present. These two conditions not observed in Paget's. Itching and vesicles are not seen in Paget's disease. Paget's disease mostly identified by nipple destruction, not seen in eczema. Usually in eczema, nipple is intact. Underlying lump can be seen in Paget's, not usually seen in no underlying lump in case of eczema. So Paget's disease, nipple is usually destroyed, important point, with edges are distinct, unilateral. Eczema is bilateral condition with itching and vesicles are present, seen commonly during lactation period. No lump is seen in eczema. Investigations by mammogram. Biopsy showing Paget's cell is diagnostic. Treated by usually depends on characteristics and the stage of the underlying breast cancer. Remember this: lumpectomy or mastectomy, chemotherapy with or without radiotherapy, depending on the condition, mostly depending on characteristic and stage of the underlying breast cancer, followed by hormonal therapy. In premenopausal, tamoxifen, postmenopausal, anastrozole is used. Coming to next topic, nipple discharge. So various types of discharges from the nipples and their causes. The discharge from the surface, like seen in Paget's disease, skin diseases like eczema and psoriasis. Discharge from a single duct, if it is blood stained, can be intraduct papilloma, duct ectasia, and important one is breast carcinoma. The discharge is serous, can be fibrocystic disease or duct ectasia, or can be carcinoma of the breast. Suppose the discharge is not from a single duct, if it is more than one duct, if it is blood stained, first most important to be remembered is carcinoma of the breast, duct ectasia, and fibrocystic disease. If they are black or greenish color, obviously it is duct ectasia. If it is purulent, infection. There is a milk discharge through nipple in lactation period. Very rare causes are seen in hypothyroidism and pituitary tumors, milk secretion. Treatment, we have to exclude the carcinoma by cytology first, simple assurance. So if discharge is proving intolerable, we have to do microdocectomy. So this is the procedure. During this procedure, microdocectomy, We will remove all the affected duct or ducts. If it is involved single duct, or if it is involved multiple ducts. First, you will pass a lacrimal probe or length of a stiff nylon sutured material should be inserted into the duct from which you observe the discharge is emerging. Afterwards, a tennis racket incision can be made to encompass the entire duct, or a periareolar incision can be used. Okay. Next, the nipple flap should be dissected in order to reach the duct. Finally, the duct should be excised. Next type of procedure, the cone excision of major ducts. Suppose when there is a bleeding or discharge from multiple ducts, entire major ductal system should be excised for histological examination. So periareal incision should be given and cone of tissue is removed involving all the ductal system. Apex just deep to the surface of the nipple and base should be on pectoral fascia. So the cone of tissue is removed. After the removing of cone of tissue, the defect should be obliterated by the pursing suture to prevent the further complications like hematoma, seroma, hematoma formations. The main disadvantages of this cone excision of major duct is unable to breastfeed, loss of nipple sensation. Because of we are in this process, we are removing cone of tissue involving the multiple ducts. Next, breast cyst occurs most commonly in the last decade of reproductive period. Usually occurs as a result of non-integrated involution of stroma and epithelium, so-called blue domed cyst of blood good. The clinical features of this breast cyst, often multiple, may be bilateral, mimics the malignancy of the breast. Typically present suddenly and cause great alarm, prompt diagnosis, and drainage provides immediate relief. Diagnosis can be confirmed by aspiration or by ultrasonography. Treated aspiration for solitary cyst. If there is a single cyst, we can aspirate simply. If they resolve completely, if the fluid is not blood stained, no further treatment is required. Usually 30% of cases will recur and usually requires reaspiration. Suppose even after 3 to 4 aspirations, if it is recurred, core biopsy or local excision should be done. When you will do this core biopsy or local excision, if there is any residual lump or if the fluid is blood stained, for histological diagnosis also, we have to exclude cystadenocarcinoma, which is most commonly seen in elderly women. See, breast cyst. Thank you. Any doubts? Students, any doubts in benign breast diseases? In the next class, I will cover the carcinoma of the breast. Next class, before coming to class, just go through once carcinoma of the breast. Last time, one student also asked about the post-operative complications of mastectomy. The next class I will cover it. You will get all short notes from this benign breast diseases. Students, any doubts? In case of breast lump, usually less than 35 years of age, you will do the ultrasonography. If it is greater than 35 years of age group, we can go for mammography. Remember this point. After doing ultrasonography only, we have to do the fine needle aspiration of the breast lump. Why? Since if you do the fine needle aspiration first, the architecture of the lump, everything will get disturbed. So that we can get false positive report also. Any doubts? Okay, students, I'm ending the session.
Okay, ma'am.
5 minutes each and any time.